Mother, good evening.
Jonathan! Is it you? Where have you been, my prodigal son?
I'm right here, Mother. I'm finally home.
Yes, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and now found. But where is your sister? Where is Mary?
Mary? She is gone, Mother.
I know she's gone. The question is, when will she return as you have? I miss my grandson so much. It's been days since their last visit.
Do you need anything, Mother? Can I help you?
I just want you to stay with me, Jonathan. Your room is ready. I asked Avery to make your bed.
I'll stay as long as I can, I promise. Do you need anything else?
Just one thing. Stop staring at me like that. As much as I love you, it breaks my heart to look at those empty and dead eyes.
Are you working on a new painting?
Not recently. I have trouble focusing on my subject and my mind quickly drifts. It's the same thing when I try to write poetry.
I recently met a talented painter with an excellent technique. I wish you two could meet. I'm sure you'd like her.
I'd be glad to meet her. What is her name? Is she famous? Is she dead too?
She's not famous, and her name is of no importance. And yes, she is also dead.
The important thing is, I hope you two get along. If she ever fancies meeting your mother, I'd be glad to welcome her into my home.
Why do you say Mary is visiting you, Mother? You know that's impossible.
Why should it be? Are you not standing in front of me right now? Why should it be any different with your sister?
But Mary really is dead, Mother.
Yes. And are you not dead too? Isn't your father dead? And my grandson, and my son-in-law, you're all gone. But you all still visit me from time to time.
But I'm not dead, Mother. I'm really here, talking to you, trying not to cry.
Oh, it breaks my heart to have to tell you this. But of course you're dead, my darling boy. Just look at you, as pale as my Mary.
Have you returned to Whitechapel Cemetery since Mary's funeral?
I never want to go back to that awful place.
It was just a bad dream, Mother.
A nightmare, yes. Mary was so angry. I walked back home alone. If that kind policeman had not called Avery from the station, I don't know what would have happened.
Mother, do you know what's been...
Not really. I don't go out much due to the epidemic, and when I do...
What do you mean you get lost? I hope...
Of course not. When I go out, your father always comes...
Goodbye, Mother.
Goodbye, son.
I remember Sunday walks in the park.
Mary? Oh, my dear daughter. How are
Good evening, Avery.
Mr. Jonathan, I can't believe my own eyes. Oh, it's a miracle. We all thought you were... Oh, sir, your poor sister. What a tragedy.
I know, Avery. I know about my sister's murder.
Miss Reed expected you to return to assist with the funeral, right up until the last minute. Where have you been, Mr. Jonathan? We needed you here.
Tell me the truth, Avery. Do you feel forced to stay here? Would you leave this house without the arrangement made by my father?
No, sir. I have nowhere else to go. And I promised your father I'd take care of his family as long as I lived.
This house is dead, Avery. There is a curse on this family. You really should consider leaving.
If only you could have been here sooner or more often. Maybe this house would not be that empty. But you're here now, sir. So my task is not over.
You have served this family extremely well, Avery.
Then I will stay. All I ask is that you take care of my own funeral if I die before the end of the epidemic. No mass grave, please, sir.
Do you really think I don't take enough care of my mother, Avery?
Yes, I do, Mr.
You clearly have something more to say.
I know you work hard to help the sick, but what will you...
My home is here, and I have nowhere else to go. But this house will need some improvements if I move here. Some radical changes.
That's good news. Whatever changes you have in mind, I'm sure we will find an arrangement that suits your mother also.
I found an old letter written by my father and addressed to me. Do you know anything about it, Avery?
Your father wanted me to give you this letter for your 35th birthday, but you left for the...
I realize now you knew my father better than I...
No, sir. Mr. Reed was not exactly full...
How is my mother?
Not well, I'm afraid, sir. Miss Reed...
The police?
Miss Reed was found walking in the streets. She kept saying she had
Has she received a
I'm taking care of Miss Reed myself.
Perhaps we could arrange a short trip.
I'm afraid Miss Reed is too frail for the moment.
I'm sorry I could not be.
Your mother was strong, sir. But your support...
To be present at the funeral with you both was my dearest wish, Avery. But
I would not dare to question your...
What is the situation in this...
For a time, the West End seemed spared by the epidemic.
Have you no relatives anywhere?
Your father managed to guarantee my earnings as...
What can you tell me?
Not much, sir. Mr. Dawson's house used to be a good house, with many servants. I heard he fired them all recently.
Goodbye.
Of course, Mr. Jonathan.
Women's right to vote is only the first step. Women of all countries unite.
It's locked. I should find another way to get into the neighborhood. It's locked, all right.
A leech! A leech! Watch it!
This is Braille. I need someone who can read this. Speak English! There's one of them vermin! I think this passage could lead me close to Alloizia Dawson's mansion.
Don't you know best?
It's locked.
I will crush you! You shall learn to respect the law! No!
This is despicable. I can't believe I'm doing this. It's locked, all right. I cannot enter. Louise's father was determined to find and save her. It's locked, all right. I have this thirst for blood.
How dare you interfere with my hunt?
Disgusting asshole! Vampire or not, I'll never be on mine! Let me go, you bastard!
stupid newborn!
Got it, asshole! Vampire or not, I'll never be your wife! Let me go, bastard! How long are you gonna keep me locked in here? Let me go, you... Bastard!
Miss Teasdale, are you all right?
How do you know my name? Who are you?
My name is Dr. Reed. I managed to track you down thanks to your father.
So my father really was looking after me. This man, this vampire told me my father was dead. Is it true?
I'm afraid so, miss. I'm so sorry for your loss. But you are free to go, as your abductor is no more.
I suppose my jailer also killed my father, didn't he?
Thankfully, he did not search your father's corpse, where I found his notes describing where he might find you. You should read them.
I must find my father's body. He deserves a proper burial.
Goodbye, Miss Teasdale, and be careful. Until we meet again.
Good evening, sir. May I ask you what you're doing here at this late hour?
I'm conducting an investigation about the epidemic in this part of town.
And who are you, sir?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. May I ask who you are and why all the questions?
I'm Detective Inspector Charles Albright from Scotland Yard. And I don't find your answers convincing. What is a Pembroke doctor doing in the West End at this time of night?
I work for the Ascalon Club. Here is my permit to go freely about the city.
The Ascalon Club? You should have said so, sir. I must warn you, these streets are dangerous, and you'd better be careful.
What are you investigating, exactly?
Mr. Kimura has been murdered. Always the same injuries. Wounds to the neck and massive blood loss. I'll stick to my homicidal maniac theory.
What are you really doing here?
I told you. I'm a detective.
Do you work alone?
Yes. The situation is difficult for the police. Many of us are sick. And since the summer strike, most men apply a work to rule on their patrols.
What about the situation in the East End? Why are there no police there to protect the civilians?
I know, it's a shame, but we just don't have enough men to cover the entire...
Why are you investigating?
Criminals rarely act in daylight, you know.
I'd like to report a name, Inspector. Jeffrey McCullum. I'm afraid he's some sort of vigilante, trying to recruit an army of angry citizens.
Then I'll write the name down and transmit this intelligence to the appropriate office. Thank you, sir.
What can you tell?
I'm the one asking questions, especially when there's a...
What killer?
I'm not going to discuss that with the civilians.
Haven't I told you about the investigation?
All right, without giving you too much information.
And what about the epidemic?
We both know the situation.
Tell me all you know about that homicidal maniac you're looking for.
I'm not even sure there is only one. The wounds are always the same, but the modus operandi varies. Sometimes violent and brutal, sometimes precise and swift.
How could different killers inflict the same wounds?
That's my main problem. If my theory is correct, maybe we're facing a group of individuals sharing the same violent tendencies. Perhaps a sadist cult.
Do you know anything in particular about a man called Alloysius Dawson?
Who doesn't know the man? I think he intervened personally to put an end to the police strike of last August.
What else can you tell me about him?
Aloysius Dawson is exactly the kind of powerful and influential man who could commit murder and get away with it, with just one phone call.
What are you in...
Mr. Kim...
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Dr. Jonathan. Dr. Reed.
Do you need medical attention?
I'm afraid I may have caught something.
You'll quickly feel better after taking this.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Doc...
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
Dr. Reed? Dr. Reed?
Is there anything wrong?
No, it's just... Your name sounds familiar. And your face. Have we met before?
I think I would remember.
That's odd. I'm certain I've already heard of you. My name is Peric...
I'm afraid not, sir. But it's a pleasure...
The pleasure is mine, I guess.
What can you tell me about
I've heard this is a man who has searched for his place in the world for a long time. I hope he found it.
And what do you do?
I stopped working when I decided to leave.
Tell me more.
I just don't belong here anymore.
But what were you doing before?
Does it really matter anymore?
Tell me about yourself, Mr.
We are waiting
And why are you waiting for this?
because we need to leave this city.
Why do you want to leave the city?
I'm not really sure.
Can you tell me, Ed?
As you like asking questions.
Please.
Do you like this city?
I know we are not living in the most peaceful...
Yes, me too.
But what if we don't like...
Do we ever know who we are? I wonder.
Who are you waiting for?
I really can't answer that question.
And why is that?
This person is mostly my brother's acquaintance. I don't even know his real name. Only that this man could help us leave this city.
But why would you need this person's help to leave?
Well, I thought we should have left this cursed place all...
Goodbye, Mr. Beck. I cannot enter.